Today, in this ninth in the series of the best ever unboxing and review videos series, I'd like to talk to you about these amazing HDMI cables that you've probably never seen before, never heard of. As you know, I fitted the GH5 to the camera cage, the R1S, and then all the other problems with the monitor and all that. But this is just the fitting of it to the gimbal and why I need the HDMI cable for that, and to the video transmitter. You'll see that I've made up the adapter plate. So if you just want to purchase some of those, just let me know. And I needed a flexible cable. Now this is your sort of normal sort of cable, fairly thick, and that's a sort of bend curve in the middle of the cable. But when you come down further, you can see that the radius is fairly large. So what that means is that when this was to fit a monitor, it used to fit up and go like that. And as you can see, curvature is fairly high for on a gimbal, because gimbals, they move around and everything catches. So I needed a flexible short length cable, and with different types of heads on them, plugs. Now there's a variety of types of plugs. I'll just show you this picture. There's left, there's right, there's up, and there's down. So depending on, that's down, if that stayed the same, that would be up, be left and right. Some call them 90 degrees, 180 degrees, 270 degrees. Some call them type 1, type 2, type 3. And one of the problems too is that pictures might have two there and they call it a straight one, so you have to be careful. So this type of cable is too thick for me. And this is your standard sort of cable. And I was after a flexible one. The same things are called different names by different people, different sellers. And I get most of my stuff from eBay, so they just copy from one seller to another and all that sort of thing. I come across an FPV cable. Now in quadcopters, that type of thing, when you wear the glasses and you look and we're in the pilot seat, that's a first person view. Why they just don't call it pilot view, I don't know. So the first person view is short to FPV, so you see FPV glasses and all that. They had a special type of cable. Now this cable goes under different names. It's a Fpc cable, which isn't cable, flexible printed circuit. You know, you open up, let's just say a quadcopter, and you got the orangey looking plastic electronic strip that goes from one plug to another. Well, that's what a Fpc is. Some other people call it an FFC, is a flat flexible cable. And some people say FPC is wrong, and some say FFC. Some say FFC is flat flexible cable, and that, they say, is for every flat flexible cable, not just electronics. I'll let you work out what you call it. So you may find it under those three different names on eBay, electronic shop, but here they are. I've got two cables in here, and they're 1/2 metre long. So you think I'm going to pull out a cable like that, don't you? There's the cable. There's the other cable. First of all, very flexible, fit in a little plastic box. Second of all, you have to assemble it yourself. So you go to the seller and you ask what type of plug. You can have the type A, mini, micro, so you have 3 different types. Then you can have straight, left, right, up and down. 4 times 3 is the different combinations you can have. Cables are set sort of length, you know, half a metre, 300. You may see some cheaper ones, and it's a cable, but you got to make sure that they might show you this picture, but it might be a mini, and it might be showing up, but they might call it down. So you have to really concentrate with the seller. So this is the actual connectors. Now I've got 2 that are similar to that, and then I've got 2 which is a straight and an up. Now the reason why I've got 2 is one's to fit the transmitter and the camera, but then sometimes the camera might not be on the gimbal, so then the 90 degree up might have to be a 90 degree down, that sort of thing. And if the monitor's sitting this way or sitting that way, I've tried to make it a bit more universal. Plus if the receiver's on the monitor, then that's a different type. So I try to work out which ones were the easiest and order to that. The lengths are a bit long, but as you can see, they're more versatile for me. A kit like this is 10 US bucks. Now as you can see, the cable isn't rubbery. it's an electronic circuit cable. And on the end, they have the little stripped down bare ends. And you have to flick open the little latch there, put it in, and flip up the latch so they're in and fit in. But as you can see, there's no plug to stop the cross talk. There's no insulation, it's bare. So I'll have to get some heat shrink and pop it around. You know, these might have twisted pairs and little cores on there, that ferrite cores to stop cross talk and all that sort of stuff. Yet this is the electronic stuff on a quadcopter, well, used on a quadcopter, that has the motors and, you know, 48 volts and all that sort of stuff, so it seems to work. Now, it is a bit long, but as you can see, you can make it flexible. But another reason why I also made it long, what some gimbals and rotating electronic device, you know, like the steering wheels in the race cars, they have all the buttons on the steering wheel. Well, they just have a coiled cable. And when they wind it 3 turns that way, it sort of undoes, and when they wind it 3 turns that way, it gets tighter. So you could mount the same. You could have this sitting there, and you could have your monitor, say, hanging on this side. So this could turn up and down, and this is flexible enough to turn with it. So I've mounted the transmitter here. You could mount it on here. So when the camera turns, it only has to, that's not even a full turn. So 90, 180, 270. So you could hang all this stuff off here. Cable could go in, go under there, and that could just rotate. You might get half a turn out of this type. So as you can see, it's quite amazing. You might be able to, I don't know, but you might be able to cut it and strip the end, but I don't know. I don't know what special ends they do, whether you strip the wires off. It looks like there's a little line in there, so wouldn't try it. If you go straight, you have to have your curve. If you go forward, you can't. If you open the cage, the monitor, you can't have it going that way. So I've got the straight here, so as it goes in and doesn't interfere with it. This is the out here. Again, if you're trying to bend that up, go up there, around here and point that way or out that way, it starts to get a bit long. I decided to go up. I'll take that out and discuss it in there. Run the cable in under there, it goes there like that, and then the cable comes up here like that. And I think the trouble was the next size down is 300, and I think I needed a 400, something like that. So as you can see, it's quite flexible. Brings me to the other problem, is the power connector. Straight one fits, but again, it's stupid. I put it too close to the HDMI plug. And I got a 90 degree, I was going to make up a cable, but the 90 degree body hits on this frame. I put that in the wrong spot. Should have put it on the bottom here, like that. So when that's in there, you won't be able to pull the plug in and out. And I'm just hoping that the gap between there and there is enough for the head. So that's on order, we'll have to see. So as you can see, quite an amazing cable, 10 US bucks, it's okay. You can make up your own combinations. I wouldn't recommend pulling these off and pulling them on. A neat solution. When the power cable comes, you'll see the cables all fitted. As always, if you've got any questions, subscribe and they'll be answered. Thanks for watching.